Ladies, I shall see you next week.
See you later.
Take care. Pardon?
Send me a text.
Will do.
Thank you.
Reminders, by the way. He reminds me now.
See you later.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Whee!
Yeah, I forgot he was going.
Oh, yeah. It's alright, man. Ow! I decided I don't want to waste it. I'm just having it while it's to tide me over before for dinner. I don't mind.
Swearing.
I don't mind. I'll still eat my dinner. I love my dinner.
No, it's not a head.
No. Ah. I want to do it early because, like I say, we're supposed to be watching things. We're not watching something 3 hours long, but I was thinking I really want to watch that Disney thing. Been trying to watch it for ages. I don't know. You taped something about Disney, and I was gonna. Is it like a documentary, or is it an actual dramatization? No, I want to watch it. I know, so we'll never get to watch it then because you just want to watch it in daylight, and I don't want to watch telly in the daytime. Mm-hmm. I know your routine. Yeah.
Well, 2 hours if it's Midsummer Murders, and then I want something that's not a film. So I watch things like those kind of things.
No, I get that, but you can't watch it because I want to watch it.
Well, I know because I'll get them, but I don't.
It's important.
What I'm trying to say to you, that what to watch is my main thing after having something to eat. I want to settle down and watch something like.
Something to get your teeth into.
Yeah.
A film.
You could even start watching to see what that sandwich is.
That's another thing I want to watch, yeah. Sandition. It's got fat guys in it.
Well, that's it. And then after that, because that's not 2 hours, that's an hour. Then watch Remote Disney.
Oh, I don't mind doing it that way. I wasn't saying about you having it as our main thing. I just wanted to make sure we still watched it at some point at night time.
Was that the sandwich? Or we could save them until after we finish watching
Darling Buds of May.
but then again, we won't watch half. Well, that's why I like talking further, and then you can watch either a film or something else, a movie.
I mean, we could watch that, but we'd have to start watching it as soon as we sat down for dinner. Seeing as how it's 3 hours. But I probably still would. I still wouldn't watch an entire 3 hours in one evening unless we sat down at probably 5 o'clock.
No, I would with things like that.
Or we
I would watch it like
Part.
like film time, an hour and a half and an hour and a half.
Exactly, that's what I was just going to say.
That's what I
So can we do that then tonight? Can we watch like that much and then... Unless we watch the Sandition tonight and then the Walt Disney thing.
We'll save them because after Darling Buds of May, we've got nothing.
So we're going to watch Sandition for our evening meal.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
if you like it, obviously.
I'm sure we will. It's a period drama. We like all period dramas. In the entire universe, we're not picky.
Try not to kick it over there because you can see how muddy it is. It's better to do it over there where it's not muddy.
That's true. Anyway, shoo so I can make the video. And you can get on with cooking, woman. Get back to the kitchen. Get back to the kitchen, servant woman. She's perfect. Will do.
My lady.
It's my lord.
Oh, madame. What would you call her? Oh,
My lady, probably.
Oh, what kind of lady are you? So, yes, I can say.
Technically, it's yeah, this is the truth.
So, yes, my lady.
All right, then, thank you. What's going on over there? Sorry about that. It's just that I want to make this video entirely about what I want to talk about. I am eating and drinking at the same time, so don't worry. So I'm not lying. Hello. Achoo. Achoo. Oh, I'm sorry you said hello and I didn't see that. Sorry about that. So, another new person? That's great. So you the first time watching today? I will of course talk to my viewers today, but there is something specific I want to talk about in this live stream. I know you guys don't like it when I talk in the live stream. You just want it to be about the food and the drink and the want to see my belly and shit, but I like to talk about shit basically. Can't talk to anybody else about this shit. I can't talk to my mum about what I'm about to talk about because like she'll just think, oh, it's just silly stuff, when really it's not just this one incident, it's like a build-up of stuff. So, and also even though it's just roleplay, yeah, it's funny you should say that because we were just talking about the film with her in it tonight, Harry Potter, the first one. We're gonna watch that today. And this particular coat I'm wearing looks like a wizard's robe. Just very, not like exactly the same, but it just has a look of like a cloak, just a bit. I do have a cloak actually. So that's really loud. That's really loud. I think you would be good. I don't think so. I think that probably if I didn't do the fetishy stuff, which I'm kind of trying to get away from, because I'm trying to make this I'm really trying to make this sort of a major channel about my art, my opinions, which I know nobody cares about because I'm a woman, so obviously no one cares about my opinions, even in this day and age. But because they just want me to strip off, basically. I'm not saying that literally, by the way. I'm just saying all people are interested who watch this channel is about my body. They're not really that interested in what I have to say. And that's a fact because people have come on and said, we just want to see your belly. That's why we're subscribed to you. We're not subscribed to you for art or opinions or whatever. People have actually said that to me. So that's what I'm going off of. And that's another injustice and unresolved issue. Which, like I say, this video is about that as well as me eating and drinking. It's about unresolved issues and injustices. And one of them is, although I do like to, I really love the whole weight gain thing and I love to talk about it, and I love, and which is why I do this, I love my belly, I love fatness, I love it with a passion. I don't think I ever stop thinking about it, but I do also think about and talk about other things too, but mainly the weight gain stuff is what I think about and talk about. I can't go out without pointing out all the fat people because I love them so much. I love them. Apparently as a kid I used to point to fat people and say, oh look, she's fat. I used to do that like out loud, and my mum had to explain to them that I actually like fat people. It's not that I'm making fun of them, it's because I actually like fat people. But yeah, I used to just go like this, oh look, a fat person. Oh look at you, you're so fat. You know, I used to do that as a child, and it's because I was overjoyed to see fat people. But of course they took it as, oh, you're calling me fat, how rude. And I'm like, no, it's a compliment actually. I like fat people. My mum had to explain that to them, that it's an actual compliment. If I call someone fat or whatever, it's a compliment. You know, point out. But I know people was, I didn't understand obviously as a kid that people were sensitive about being fat, because in my brain I liked fatness so much that it should be mainstream. Even to this day I think that fat should be mainstream. I hope you guys will bear with me, because in some videos I will talk about weight gain stuff and some videos I will talk about other stuff. And this particular video is going to be sort of a mixture, but I mainly want to talk about the main thing that I was talking about. So for those of you who are just coming to this video now, this live stream, but didn't watch the first one, you may have to watch the first one to know for this to make sense what I'm about to say. But just bear with me, you can watch that afterwards and you can rewatch this one if it does make sense. Oh, hello. That's random. She's just randomly standing there while I'm trying to talk. You do know I'm live, right? It's in the bag in there on the table or the counter, I don't know. It's in somewhere in there. This is what I mean. This is why I can't get through a video, because people keep interrupting me. I can't get through a video or a live stream without getting interrupted. And that's why my live stream's ending up being 10 million years long. 10 million years long. So, right, so in the previous live stream before Mike interrupted, Mike's the guy who brings the bird stuff, by the way, the bird food for the pigeons that my mum feeds them, so. So I was talking about how as Don Lino, I'm in another group that a guy from my mafia has created, and half my mafia is in that group. He's called Steve-O. He's a great guy, and he added a few of my mafia to the group. He's also got, as it happens, he seems to know quite a few of my mafia from previous groups that they've been in. So they've got a current one now that some of my old mafia's eaten in, as well as my current. So long story short, I'm dating this girl called Les in there as Don Lino, being still like the teenage version of Don Lino in this college group, which is Steve-O's group, is the college group that I told you about in the previous one. Like I say, it all makes sense. And what happened was, there was someone in there called Delty. And I only saw the name Delty. I didn't think anything of it, but he was a bit mean to me. Like, he started shouting at me because he said something like, "Stop being so controlling, it's not your group, it's Steve-O's group." But I was trying to help, I wasn't being demanding. I was pretty much saying, can't you use brackets when you're talking in real life, out of character, and asterisks for when you're doing in roleplay actions? And I wasn't being demanding, I was just telling Steven that this is what should happen. Sorry, did I call him Steven? It's Steve-O. Steve-O is like an Australian version of Steven, I guess. But we're calling him Steve-O for the sake of the video. But I accidentally said Steven. I mean Steve-O. So, Steve-O, I was telling Steve-O that I just think it would help ease the confusion, because it could be quite confusing when people are just talking, like just typing without anything to signify whether they're out of character or not. So it's usually nothing for talking and then asterisk for actions, and then when you're talking out of character, it's brackets. You have to say whatever you're saying in brackets. Or like slashes, like forward slash and then say what you're saying. So that's how we do it, but some role players are very confusing and they continue to talk even when they're talking out of character. Or they'll use slashes for when they're doing in roleplay actions, and it can be quite confusing when everybody's not using the same format. I've grown up with the asterisk for actions format and nothing for when you're talking in roleplay. And then use brackets or the slashes for when you're talking. So it gets very confusing when everybody does it differently. So, I see now that I'm talking about this, everybody's left again. Just like the first one, I had 4 people, then I start talking about this, and then they all disappear. Yeah, typical. Typical. See, this is why I get frustrated, because nobody's interested in things that are very important to me. Like issues, again, more unresolved issues. And it's a big problem for me, because I know nobody's really interested in what I have to say, and it can be quite frustrating at times when I have to vent. So I'm going to continue, because I'm going to treat this as a video rather than a live stream. So you can just, guys, watch this later or don't. I don't really care. I'm sure in the future I'll do more live streams that you would prefer. Like maybe just shut up, be naked and just eat. That would probably do it. But sadly, I'm not going to do that. But I know that's what people would probably prefer. Like most weight gain channel people. Most YouTubers that do this sort of thing probably just don't talk at all. They probably just eat in videos and strip off. Fucking perverts. Well, women have to do this because it's the only way to get ahead. See? If I made a channel solely about this stuff and not the weight gain stuff, you could go around here and probably have 2 subscribers and nobody would really care. Even if my videos were well edited and I had valid points, people would still... Do you know what? I'm going to make a separate video or live stream about this very subject. But I'm going to now continue about what I was saying. If there's a video, I could edit that out. Anyway, so... excuse me. I'm still drinking though. So, I didn't think anything of this Delty Wolf person. Except that he was having a go at me because I was being demanding or something. So, what happened was... I thought, I wonder if that's the same Delty that I had in my mafia a long time ago, who, by the way, my wife dirty cheated on me with this guy. And then, so I checked his last name out, and indeed, it was the person. It was the same person that I had in my mafia a long time ago, who was supposed to be Don Lino's son. And he, like I say, he had my wife cheat on me with him. He had sex with my wife in private, obviously. Somebody else told me that this happened. I don't know how they knew exactly. I think Delty Wolf told someone, then that someone told me. I'm not really sure. But either way, it was Delty Wolf. It used to be Delty Wolf, now it's Delty Wolfie. So as soon as I saw the Wolfie bit, I knew exactly who it was. So, of course, then it all came back. I thought, oh yes, so it is that person. No wonder they'd be rude to me. Because they already hate me from back then. I don't know why. Because I never actually did anything to them. Except maybe kick them from my group. Because I found out they had sex with my wife. And Jeremiah messaged him and told him about what happened. And they kind of not resolved it, but they talked about it. Jeremiah and Delty talked about it. Jeremiah is Don Lino's son, who's also in my Mafia roleplay group, but not in the college group. Steve-O's college group. You've got to be aware they're 2 separate groups, but they've all got my Mafia in them. The same people. But they're playing different people. Unlike me, who's just playing still Don Lino, and I'm still sort of being the bad boy, like him as a teenager. So, so after I found out it really was Delty Wolf, I started having to go at him because, like I say, it brought it all back. And as soon as I did that, they all kicked me from the group. Now, somebody else, the chase person that I told you about in the previous stream, had already started drama. And they had like a long-winded discussion about it, even though he was being irrational, but they never kicked him. And yet the same sort of thing happened with me, but I got kicked straight away and I didn't know why. So I went absolutely ballistic. I kind of took it out on everybody in my Mafia group because I was so angry at the way I'd been treated. That Delty Wolf was the one in the wrong. He's the one who fucked my wife. And I was just calling him out about it. And everybody saw his side for somehow and kicked me from the group, even though he's the one who was sort of in the wrong, and I was just sort of calling him out because he blocked me, so I wasn't able to resolve it with just him. So I was calling him out in the group because I had no way else of talking to him about it. So I wasn't able to resolve the issue because I got kicked from the group then last night. So after I got kicked, I went absolutely ballistic and I told everybody what happened, all of my Mafia group, and even the Mafia group people that were actually in Steve-O's group. I told about it, and it was really, I was confused, but I was also very angry. I had a mix of emotions, but mainly angry, but kind of calm. I was still kind of calm within the real me, like I was calm, but I was still ballistic Steven because I thought it was Steve-O's fault. I thought because I discovered he'd kicked me. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do this at first because my Facebook froze. So I had to send Jeremiah in, who uses a phone, so he was able to talk to Stephen and the others. But he was also like having to go at Ray as well, he was supposed to be my butler in the Mafia group, and he's also in Steve-O's group, and he doesn't seem to like me very much. He just sort of does these told most of the time, but he doesn't really like me because my Mafia group is pretty strict. but he likes Steve-O's group better because it's not as strict and everybody's got more liberations in there. So, but I was really annoyed at Ray because he's kind of betrayed me because, well, he agreed that with Delty Wolf again, he was on Delty Wolf's side, and that pissed me off as well. So Jeremiah had to go at Ray on my behalf, for seeing as how my Facebook was froze, so I couldn't have the massive go like I wanted to. But I kind of directed all my anger at the wrong people. I directed my anger at Steve-O and Ray, when really it's Delty Wolf. I should have explained to Steve-O what happened, which I did, but in an angry way and probably irrational way. But I eventually told him, he managed to understand everything I said, and then I told him in a more rational way what happened. Oi, focus. And he said he was putting the pieces together and he was understanding more what was going on so he could resolve the issue. So for once in my life, an issue from both the past and the present might actually be resolved. So although I'm annoyed at what happened last night, and as a result I ended up being up until 6 o'clock in the morning because I was so angry and upset, and I was busy, like I say, talking to a million people about it. It felt like I was talking to a million people about it. But mainly Kitty, my girlfriend, and she's Don Lino's girlfriend, sort of, and also daughter. Kitty's Don Lino's daughter in the mafia group, but my girlfriend sort of outside the group, if that makes sense. So she like plays, it's like she's the same person, but she plays my daughter in there, but she plays my kind of in real life girlfriend in outside the roleplay, but part in roleplay, part real life, if that makes sense. I was telling her, she's like, she will defend me with her absolute core. She's absolutely brilliant. She can be a bit much. Sometimes she does have a go at people, like the wrong people for the wrong things, and she does come off very strong to people, especially new. I think it's because we're going off piste, and maybe I'm not supposed to say all this. Do you know what? I'm actually worried that these people might actually discover this. What if they discover this video and I'm talking in detail about this? So people might, from my mafia thing, might actually, you know, might actually discover this and think, oh, that's Don Lino, because I've said so many times now that I play Don Lino, so probably, you know, if anybody finds this, they'll know who I am. So maybe I should delete these. So apparently I'm live, but it's still blurry. There we go. I'm back again. Sorry guys. Sorry, it's going to be a lot. I'm going to try not to make this a very long live stream. So, long story short, when I calmed down at last and I talked to people civilized, I was able to resolve an issue for once in my life. Like I've never been able to do that before. Normally I go away mad and they go away mad and we never speak again, like because they blocked me or whatever. But the guy, Steve-O, is saying that he's going to add me to his courtroom chat tonight, and we're going to resolve it like normal civilized human furries. Normal civilized furries. We're going to discuss it, and we're going to have like a trial type thing, and everybody will sort of get their own say. I suppose people get asked questions. So hopefully Mr. Delty Wolf will be held to task, I hope. I'm hoping they will see that Delty Wolf is in the wrong and I'm in the right. Because I want to put my side of the story of that issue is that the reason why I had an outburst on the group. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you the most important part, very important. Do you know what Delty Wolf did? The underhand little bastard. Do you know what he did? I forgot to mention this when I was talking to Steve in private and telling him all the details, and so he understands what I'm saying, and he realises that Delty is an arsehole. I forgot the most arseholery thing he did, aside from obviously having sex with my wife, but that was a while ago, like I say. And he went, oh, you should be over it by now or something. Well, it was never resolved at the time, so that's why I drudged up last night. But anyway, do you know how... I'll try again. The stupid Wi-Fi will stop disconnecting me, which is not disconnecting me, by the way, but it's still saying reconnecting. Anyway, the reason why I got kicked out of the group so quickly was because apparently they have a separate private group with just the moderators, as they're called. And by the way, I'm a moderator. I just want to point that out. I'm a moderator, so I should be in this group. But apparently I was revoked from being a moderator because apparently Delty Wolf had told Steve-O and the other moderators that I raped Les. Because what happened was Steve went for a while. He wasn't able to roleplay and watch the roleplay for a while. So he left the other moderators in charge, including me. I'm a moderator, so while he was gone, obviously all this stuff transpired, and when Steve-O finally got back, Delty Wolf had the galls to tell Steve-O that I'd raped somebody in the roleplay, and that's how I was kicked so fast, which I didn't, by the way. That Les person, we were dating, and all we did was kiss. That was it. Was kiss. That was it. That's all we did. But actually, Delty Wolf actually said that I raped her. Or tried to rape her, apparently. Apparently, I tried to rape her and they stopped me by doing whatever and then got me kicked. But that was before Steve-O got to see what was actually happening in the roleplay. So he didn't get to actually see whether I actually had tried to rape her or not. Because he'd been gone all that time, and obviously everybody was bombarding him with, oh, Lino did this and Lino did that. Lino raped such a body, and oh, he started yelling for no reason. Ugh. So Steve-O has been bombarded by all these people saying how terrible a person I was. And of course Steve-O, just to shut everybody up and keep the peace, just kicked me from his group. But he said that he was going to re-add me either that night or tonight. So either last night or tonight, he said he was going to, when everybody had calmed down, he said he was going to, you know, put me back in the group so that we could resolve the issue properly. But now he's heard my side of the story. He had to hear everybody's side of the story before they come to a conclusion. And luckily Steve-O's that type of guy who will listen to your side before saying, oh yes, you raped him, and that's why you're a terrible person, you know, like that. So I'm now going to freaking roleplay court. But he knows that I didn't do anything. This is just to bring Delty Wolf to task for the shit that he's done. It's not actually roleplay court, but it's real life issues that are going to be resolved in a group chat on Facebook with all that involve all the role player people. I'm presuming it's just going to be me, Steve-O and Delty in this court thing. I'm not really sure. There needs to be witnesses, surely, especially Les. Les really needs to testify that I didn't freaking do anything. I've never done anything to Les. Les is actually my daughter in my mafia roleplay. It's Don Lino's daughter. She's Don Lino's daughter, and she's about 5 in my roleplay. But in real life, she's a 40-odd-year-old person, woman. She's a 40-odd-year-old woman in real life, by the way, just to let you know. So if I was to have sex with her, I could. You know, in roleplay, I mean. Even in roleplay, it wouldn't really be technically rape, though. But they accused me of doing it, even though I didn't even mention anything. I just, like, they kissed her and I'm just supposed to be dating, that's it. In there. So in Steve-O's group, the college one, she's obviously supposed to be like a college student, so she's a teenager in the roleplay like me. So both like supposedly like same age in that. But still there was no rape involved. But the heartbreaking part about it was she didn't defend me. Like, I kept saying, like, how dare you accuse me of rape? Because I thought it was her at first. I didn't realise Delty was the one who said that I'd raped her. I thought she'd said it for some reason. I don't know how I got to that conclusion, but I somehow got to that conclusion that she's the one who said it. But what I was really upset about was the fact that she didn't defend me. Like, she just went along with it. She didn't sort of say, no, he didn't try to rape me or whatever. But she said that she was just scared because I was yelling a lot. And that's why she's upset. But they took it that it's because I raped her or something. But I didn't. I roleplay raped her, apparently. So what? Even if I roleplay raped, it's still just freaking roleplay. But I didn't. The fact is that I didn't. But like I say, it's not real. Roleplay is not real. Despite people do take it seriously. But the fact is that this is like real life issues that they tried to bring up. And it sounds all silly. And it sounds like, oh well, it all happened in sort of a roleplay group with people online, so it doesn't really matter, it's not a big deal. And normally I would let this sort of thing go because I'm trying to get to a point in my mind where I'm thinking, well, it's not real, it's just pretend. You know, who cares if people on there have an issue with me for whatever reason. But this was an injustice. I felt this was an injustice because it was real life stuff that was drudged up. And, you know, it was a person who had a real life problem with me, not just a person who had a roleplay problem with me. Like, I don't, if I have an issue within a roleplay with someone, that's fine because that's just in roleplay. But this was real life sort of deal. He had a problem with me in real life for some reason. But I didn't know what it was, and he got me kicked from the group. Even though he's the one who did wrong. Like, nobody even cared. They just thought I was being irrational. Like, no one cared that he's did me wrong, and I'm just sort of bringing it up. But nobody cared because apparently it's in the past. Do you know what? If I did something in the past, people would still hold it against me to this day. But apparently when people do stuff to me in the past, they all say, oh, well, you've just got to get over it. Oh, you haven't got over it yet. Oh. In fact, one person said, oh, you're still on about that after 2 days one time. Because they said that I was an incompetent, that Don Lino was an incompetent mafia boss. And again, in real life, they said it, not in roleplay. So they said I was incompetent as a mafia boss in the roleplay thing. And I was upset, and after 2 days, we were still talking about it, and they said, are you still not over that? I thought it was not even 2 days ago, it was a day ago. Like, it happened the night before or something. And the next day, I said that, and they said, are you still not over it? And I'm like, it wasn't that long ago it happened, so apparently I've got to just let things go, apparently. According to everybody in the universe, I've got to just let people walk all over me, right? I've got to just let people do me wrongs in real life, in roleplay, whatever. And I've just got to take it, and I've got to just get over it, apparently. Else, it would be okay if they brought it up again. But people would understand why they're bringing it up again, even if it was a long time ago. Because it's still something that happened, it's still something that pissed you off. It's still an injustice, it's still an unresolved issue. So of course you're going to bring it up. Any unresolved issues you're going to bring up at some point. Because it's relevant, or because something else has happened and you're using it as an example. Like I did in this roleplay, in this live stream. So I've used an example in my last live stream of something that happened to me 2 years ago, and also the same thing sort of, it kind of continued on in June this year. And I should have got over it. But like I'm bringing up this live stream in particular, even though it's been resolved, as an example. And then I'm just talking about something that happened last night, which was recent. About something else that's happened a long time ago that someone's saying I should have got over. So I want to, the moral of this story and this live stream is to let you people know. I want to kind of inform people why people sometimes don't let go of things. I mean, would you say that to someone who got raped years ago and they're bringing the perpetrator to task several years later? Would you say, oh, you should have got over it by now? Would you say that to someone who did that? Would you say that to someone who did that? It's unresolved issues, you know? This is why people don't get over things even after several years later. It's because the issue was probably not resolved all those years ago. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be a little thing, it can be a big thing, it can be a major thing. Like obviously if someone got raped or somebody got murdered years ago, and then the perpetrator was only brought to task sort of years later. In my mind, I'm thinking, what's the point? Because it happened years and years ago. But people still do that. Nobody tells them to get over it. Like the parents of a child that was murdered millions of years ago. No one tells them to get over it. And I understand it's a big thing. But even littler things can still etch on somebody's, can dig, can, what was it, niggle somebody. It can still niggle someone even years later. So if an incident was to... If that incident from years ago was to rehash itself for whatever reason, like you meet somebody who did you wrong years ago, there might be some tension there, or there might be some unresolved issues there. So that's why they might not have got over. I mean, they have got over it. Most people do get over things that happened years ago, especially the littler things. But if it's judged up again by somebody else, or if somebody comes along that reminds you of something that's happened years ago and the issue wasn't resolved back then, of course you're going to bring it up. Of course you're going to rehash it. Like I did last night with that Delty Wolf, although what he did happened a long time ago. He was there and he was being mean to me. So of course I'm going to attack back by bringing up the past. Because people do that. People, when they feel victimized or personally attacked by someone who did them wrong years ago, but they still feel like they're being treated wrongly by them, they're going to bring up what happened in the past. That's human nature. Humans do that. And it's understandable because, like I say, if an issue wasn't resolved at the time and years later it goes by unresolved and then it comes back up again for whatever reason, it doesn't matter what it was, people are still going to be upset about it. Like, they will have got over it within that time, sort of, in a way. But if it's brought up again, it's going to remind the person, and they're going to go, and they might even renew their anger about it again. So it might still be, they might be angry again about it. So this message is to not get upset with people who bring up the past, because sometimes people bring up the past because of unresolved issues. So that's the moral of this, and that's why I had to get through it. And I know that it's not what everybody wants to hear, but I kind of want to, my idea has always been to sort of be an influencer and a person who sort of, helps people in a way by inspiring them. And I want to inspire people on my live streams to be better people by not judging someone if they do trudge up the past. It's because you need to understand that people will have unresolved issues from the past that never got resolved at the time. And if they get a chance to resolve them in the present day, even if it happened years ago, they're going to do that. If they get a chance to resolve it, they're going to want to do it, because unresolved issues can stick in your mind for a long time. Luckily, those two incidents were kind of resolved. The two incidents I brought up as examples in this live stream, last night and what happened to me on June, I brought them up because they're two incidences where I've had an unresolved issue with somebody. And it was brought up again ages later because that was me trying to get sort of closure or whatever, which sometimes I don't always know how to go about getting closure. So I just get angry and I'll just start rehashing things, but in an angry manner. And maybe I shouldn't do that, but sometimes it just pisses me off. And obviously I know my enemies aren't going to listen to reason, but they did in that instance. And Steve-O was really good last night, like I say. He did see it my way, and he's realised that he was in the wrong, that Delty person, and I was actually not in the wrong totally, even though I yelled and screamed. My only crime was yelling and screaming. His crime was, Delty's crime was telling a lie about me of something serious. Lied about something that I've done that's apparently that's serious, that I haven't really done. So that was my problem. But we're going to hopefully get it resolved tonight. And, I may talk about it in my next live stream, but hopefully it won't be like a whole the whole live stream won't be about it. Just wanted to make this live stream about it because it's been on my mind all day. So I really just wanted to talk about this. And like I say in my beginning of my last live stream, I said I don't like it when people block you because then you can't resolve the issue. And what happened can affect your mental health and even your physical health. So people need to be more empathic and understanding that these things, these issues that stress a person out, if they're unresolved, can have a toll on their mental and physical health. There's all that stuff, and on a more serious note, there's all that stuff about when somebody gets, I don't know, abused by a parent, and then years later, you know, they're still not completely right. You know, they still have issues in some areas. And things that happen in your past do affect you in the future and in the present. So people saying you should get over stuff, it's not always the case. Sometimes people try and get over it as best they can. Stop licking the ground. Some people do try and get over it as best they can. They try and cope with what's happened to them as best they can. But sometimes it's not always possible, and sometimes things, like I say, get hashed up in the present or the future. What's that now? Anyway, so I'm gonna go now. I meant to go ages ago. I need to do the dog. Drop the ball. Shit, I've been playing with you like practically non-stop. Go on. You know the drill. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't do that. Don't do that. You know better than that. You know better than that. Oh, well, that's good. That sack is covering the place where I put the ball. Ugh. Thanks a lot, Mike, for putting it there. Nah. Come. I don't think people really understand that what people say and what people do to other people really can affect them. Like, people think that just affecting, I don't know, physical trauma affects people, but they don't really think that what happens to them, like with people saying certain things or doing things to someone that's not physical, can have an effect on that person physically. Even words can have a physical effect on somebody. Like, if someone treats someone really badly, it can actually affect their mental and physical health. Like, after all that stress that happened last night, my allergies acted up. I ended up not going to bed until 6 a.m. Although that was all on me, I should have just sort of switched off and just gone to bed anyway. But because I was so hepped up and annoyed, I just couldn't sleep, so I had to try and get it resolved as best as I could before I could sleep, so I wasn't angry. My stomach was in. I actually had to let you know I don't get stomach aches, but because of the stress and the accusations, the stress of the accusations, I got a stomach ache, and my allergies my nose went tickly, and it started, you know, sneezing and streaming again. So apparently when I get stressed, I had ulcers in my mouth as well. Yesterday I went to Willowwood Hospice. Just want to let you guys know I went to Willowwood Hospice, and I witnessed and it actually upset me. I witnessed 2 women running out of Willowwood in tears, crying. And after that happened, I got a painful roof of my mouth because it obviously affected me. Like, I didn't think it affected me that much, but it really did inside, and I got like an ulcer. And after last night's stress, I got an ulcer in there. And like I say, my allergies acted up like crazy. So this is to inspire people to, this live stream, even though it didn't seem like it was about that, was really to inspire people to just be more understanding and more empathetic and sympathetic to people. Because you don't know what they're going through, and you don't know how what you do to them affects them. They might have, like I say, other things going on in their lives, and then you don't help by coming up. JD, what are you doing? Stop it! You're supposed to go the other way. So I think it's my inspiring stuff is kind of wasted because I know everybody's opinion on what I say, but I do actually have a lot that I want to say, and this is why I got YouTube in the first place. My actual intention for YouTube that I was supposed to inspire people.
So what were we watching? I can't remember what we were watching. Don't touch it!
I wasn't. I was just stirring it.
You were. Why don't want? That's what I mean by don't touch it.
Nuh-uh. Bah!
I don't like taking